You know, Garry Cobb and I have seen old school coaches, and I'm going to do what I did with Xander, and I'm going to get the comments here from Vic Fangio. And me and Garry are going to go over them because I got to tell you something. It's very rare you see a guy that doesn't pull any punches. And I'm going to ask him a little bit about Jim Johnson and Vic Fangio. Do you see the similarities? Our good friend Garry Cobb from Fox 29, former Eagle, former 10-year plus veteran guy, joins us now as he always does. I'm so grateful that he finds time for us. Garry, do you see some of the similarities in coaching styles and techniques that Vic Fangio had with Jim Johnson?
Without a doubt. I think it's old school coaching from the standpoint that they are the ones in control. They're calling the shots. They don't have any problem with saying, whether a player's playing well or not, regardless of what he's achieved in his career, and especially young players. They don't mind hurting. He doesn't mind hurting their feelings a little bit, which is just keeping it real. I mean, now he's not really trying to take shots at guys or anything like that. But what he believes, and he looks at his, the fact that he's got all this experience, he's evaluated players for, 30 years or so, that he feels like, look, he could, if he feels a certain way about something, he's just going to express it. He's not trying to put on airs. He's not trying to impress the media. He's not trying to impress the fans, which you can't say that about everybody because, guys come in with alternative motives. They really want to get into the media and do games or whatever they want to do, or they want to be a head coach. A lot of these guys, of course, start out as a position coach, or you want to be a head coach. He doesn't have any of those inspirations because he's already done it. He's near the end of his career. And he really doesn't have the time to be playing games. Now, what that means is you're going to get it from him straight as he's not going to try to soften the blow. These guys are, these are young men. And I don't think anybody likes being evaluated in a negative way in front of people.
But Garry, one thing you and I want.
Yeah.
What you and I want is, I want to know where I sit with you.
Yes.
I want to know where, instead of, there's so many times, and it's such a different philosophy compared to Nick. You really don't know where you are with Nick, but you surely know where you are with Vic. I mean,
yes, that's true.
And to me as a player, at least that style may be a little harsh around the basketball rim a little bit, but I'll tell you what, at least I know where I am and where I'm at around the rim with him, and he's going to tell me what I need to do to be a player. So I respect that kind of coaching.
Yeah, and you really want that from your coach. Most of the guys, now we came up in an era when that's the way it was. I mean, look, if you don't want to hear the truth, don't ask that question. Then if you really want to know what, they're going to tell you, hey, look, well, what happened? Whatever, because you're not any good at this, you're not any good at that, whatever. The coaches back then, they weren't about all the playing all the games. But now everything is so, everybody's, in the public eye, and they will think about that more now, even though there are other coaches who will tell you, and they're going to tell the media, like, what you call is horrible. That was horrible. So it's football, and come on, you should be tougher than that to be able to take some criticism, because that's really where you get better. If you go, hey, I need to get better in this area, I need to get better in that area. And unless you really get to the point where you're honest with yourself, you're never going to get better. Now, there's
Garry,
some guys.
Garry, isn't it funny the two guys that think like that are Jeff Stoutland and Vic Fangio?
Yeah, they're old-fashioned coaches. And I really like it that way. It's just that everything is, people are going to talk all around and whatever. But, those guys like that, that's who I like talking to. Because if you're going to go, hey, how's what you call doing? He's going to tell you. He's not going to, if he respects you, he's going to tell you how he feels, And you respect guys like that, because that's the way this game is. This game is not a forgiving game. you know. And if you're not getting the job done, they're running at you, or they're going to attack you if they figure you're a weakness back there. Come on. That's the way it is in the NFL. And really, that's the way you want it. Why would you want them to take it easy on you? If you can't cut it, then you shouldn't be out there, and you're going to get exposed. Come on. That's the way it is. That's the way the real world is, you know, and this is the top level of football. If you look at the top level in other areas, that's the way it is. Come on, man. Yeah. That's why the NFL is respected, because if you can't cut it, man, you are going to get exposed, and we're coming at you every play, you know.
There is no bell curve in the National Football League when it comes to grades. When you get that grade sheet the following week, when you got to sit down with your position coach. Hey, Gary, I got to ask you this though.
Yeah.
You know, I watched Patrick Mahomes the last 2 weeks play a quarter and then into the second quarter.
Yeah.
And boy, I'll tell you what, when we just talking about old school, I'm watching him behind the pack passes to Kelsey. They got the whole unit out there on both sides of the football.
I saw that. Now, you know, I know Andy. You know, I know Andy.
Hey, 2 weeks in a row, they've done that. And get this, they're even saying he's going to play a little bit this week, too. I mean,
wow. That's amazing, isn't it?
How do you look at that, and then you look at the Eagles are not going to put any of their starters? And Vic Fangio even said this, those 69 plays and 7-on-7 and 9-on-7, that's not real football. Those are teaching skill sets that you're teaching. That's not football. Do you feel okay going into September 6th with the Eagles not having put one rep in a game situation as they get ready for the Packers? How do you feel about that?
I personally, I would not be in favor of that. I would want my guys to play some football. And the only way you play football is out there where it's full go. It's not blowing whistles and whatnot and just, come on. Practice is come on, that's not real football. Blowing the whistle. You can't touch the quarterback. You can't even breathe on the quarterback. You know the way coaches are. When you get near the quarterback and it's during practice, hey, you guys, cut it out.
You can't even put guys on the ground. No, you can't even put guys on the ground like tackling.
That's right. There is no tackling. That is not real football. Come on, who is kidding who? When I hear them go into this talking about practice and how even though there's another team out there, but it's not full go. Who are you kidding? It's not full go. It's not where if we don't tackle this guy, he's going to run this ball for a touchdown. No, blowing the whistle and everything. That's not real. Come on, let's be honest. I don't know how they say it with a straight face. And it really lets you know that some of the guys, they never really played in the NFL. See, they coached in the NFL. But till you're out there and and you see some of, it's a violent game. You ever hear anybody yelling from a pile where they got their leg broke? Screaming?
Oh, yeah.
So you've heard that, man. But this part of the NFL. And nobody's apologizing to you because you got your leg broke. There are no apologies. Nobody's going, oh, sorry. This is part of the game. You came out here. You knew what you were getting into. This is it. So that's the way the NFL is. And until you've been through that and everything, come on, that's not real.
Hey, Gary, I'm in a game in Atlanta and is at the old stadium where they played ball there in Fulton County, I think it was.
Yep.
You remember Gerald Riggs?
Oh, come on.
Hey, man, he led the NFL in rushing. Well, guess what? Hey, he comes through the line of scrimmage. It's a preseason game. His ankle twists completely 367 degrees. He's screaming. And I remember Irv Randall looking over at me going like this. That's John Randall's brother. Yeah. And Irv goes, that guy led the NFL in rushing. He'll never be the same. And you're just going like this. You're looking at him. He goes, that guy will walk with a limp for the rest of his life after that. And you're sitting there in the downpour rain. You're up to your ankles in mud, and you're going like, that ain't something you see normally, man.
No. But there's nothing like that when you hear this eerie scream.
Yeah.
Because somebody's hurt.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But this is part of the game. You know, nobody says I'm sorry that your leg got caught in there. Now, does anybody intentionally want to get anybody hurt?
No.
No, not trying to do that. But you know that's part of the game. And also the violent collisions. Come on, man. Violent collisions. The where you could have got a good hit on a guy and you're getting up going, whoo. You know, this is part of the NFL. Big man on big man. You know, a guy that they call crazy against another guy they call crazy. Everybody's coming with everything they got. Nobody's there bringing in their mommy, to pat them on the back. No, we ain't got time for that. Look, you came out here on the field. This is part of it, and that's the thing you celebrate about it. Look, this is part of this. Is what the NFL's about, and the competition. Meaning, like, if we can beat you 63-0.
Oh yeah,
we're not feeling sorry for you. You guys came out here. You obviously weren't prepared for this, and we scored every time we get the ball. I mean, come on, this is the way.
Hey, that's a you thing. That's a you thing. You couldn't stop us, man. I don't know about you, man. I mean, that's got nothing. Hey, Gary, I ran over to the sidelines. Kevin O'Neill, the trainer, looks over at me and he goes like this. He goes, "You remember Kevin?" Kevin goes like this.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hey, how you feeling?" I go, "Yeah, man. I take grapes in my salad." And he's like, he's like, "Okay, we're gonna sit the rest of this one out here." And I said, "Yeah, man, I like grapes in my salad, man. Hey, Gary, here's another one here. Here's Vic when asked the question about Bryce Huff. Yeah, he's playing a completely new position. He needs to learn the technique. And, it's a work in progress. I mean, dude, it's August 19th. And we're sitting here talking about a $51 million investment. And he's going, yeah, it's coming along. He hasn't really played this position. I mean, he flashed a little bit last week. How are you feeling about him?
Well, you see the potential there. I think that a lot of these guys are getting fed a lot more than they used to because Vic has a lot of things he's doing with these guys. So I don't know. Some of it, I look at it and say, well, the guy's still learning the system and getting comfortable with the system. But, you see different things with him, especially. You see the potential there. And you can see where, he's going to take advantage of somebody that, let's say you got a left tackle or whatever.
Hopefully we're good here. Gary comes back. Gary, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I got you.
But, I think I see potential there. I don't know which one of these guys is going to be consistent. You see at times where each of them at practice will have guys where if they got Lane out there and Jordan Mailata, those are two outstanding tackles. So they have trouble beating those guys, and everybody else in the league has trouble beating these guys because Eagles have an outstanding offensive line.
Absolutely.
But when they get somebody a little lesser talented or lesser polished, they're able to take advantage of them. See, and that's what you want to see. And you want to see them go after those guys hard and everything. But I think we're all not sure about these guys. So that's why I understand he's like that. He's not sure because against those top guys, they're not winning a lot. See, in practice, they're not beating these guys a lot.
Gary.
But lesser guys, they're taking advantage of them.
Gary, couple last things here, bud. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be a little bit detailed, and I didn't want to go into the weeds with people last week about this. Yeah. But I tried to explain Vic Fangio's defense and his two high safeties, and I said this. And you tell me if I'm on page with you, and maybe you can add something too. Mm-hmm. I said the number one thing that he's trying to do, and I showed people that there's going to be two high safety, you're going to have two linebackers, and inside this zone here is where Vic is setting the mousetrap. And I said, when you play two high safety, his idea is this. Post-snap is going to go to the true coverage.
Yes.
And that's what he is going to do is that a quarterback, when you play against Fangio, you're going to get a lot of post-snap. Even Dallas Goedert said it over the weekend, that there's a lot of post-snap disguise coverages that Vic throws at you, so that when you get back, you have, excuse me, you have a completely different idea of where you were going to go with the ball. You had a pre-snap read. Well, that's gone, and he's making you think twice prior to the snap of the ball. And then when the ball is snapped, it could be a completely different look. My question to you is, do we have enough experience in the secondary to be able to handle that type of communication? Because, I'm talking to Xander. You can have all the skill you want, Gary. You can have all the talent you want. But to me, when you play in the NFL, it comes down to experience. And if you don't know what you're doing back there, you're going to be running into each other just like you were in the Super Bowl.
Well, Vic talked about this, and he said, I remember he said it when he first got here, that if he sees the guys can't handle something, he's going to go back to simple.
Okay.
That's what he said. He said he's gonna go back to simple. If he sees it's too much, or if they keep blowing a coverage, then he knows he got to simplify everything. That's what he said. So he does realize that what he's doing, really, there's a requirement of intelligence. And sometimes you don't find out how much intelligence a guy has until you put him out there, and in a situation, you find out, does he understand what we're doing? When we have to make an adjustment, is he ready for that? Are these guys communicating, And that's one thing he's really emphasizing, is they've got to communicate when they're out there, so everybody knows what they're doing. But he does, he can get a little complicated with what he's going to be sending and asking these guys to do, especially when you're asking them to disguise a coverage, and you want them to disguise it. See, now the guy can disguise the coverage, but you can't do it to the point where you're not where you're supposed to be. If a certain part of the field you're supposed to be covering, you want to disguise it as long as you can, and then you got to get where you're supposed to be. But he does have them, doing a lot out there, but he's got. I really like a lot of his coverages, because I don't see them as that complicated, but but you got to be smart. You got to know exactly who is the threat in the area you're going to be in. See, and you got to know that. And I can see what he does is he gives guys a chance to get interceptions. And so, the big thing, I always liked the coach that was going to give us a chance to get some picks.
Yeah.
So
no turnovers. That's what that thing lacked last year.
Because that is what the game is about. I mean, so even though he could be playing zone, he's not going to just play. And like I said, they don't really just play straight up zone. They're playing man in the zone, meaning like we got to push people. Somebody's in your area, you got to clamp on them. We don't want to just drop into an area and let the guy catch the ball, then we tackle the guy. No, we've got to cover the guy that's in our area, and we got to be talking to each other and communicating with each other and anticipating. If we got three guys over here, we got to have an idea. Well, where are these guys going? We know we got three guys on this side. So we got to be talking. So we cover these three guys while they're over here in this area till they go deep, So that's the kind of thing he's talking about. So it's communicating. It's looking at tape to see what they like to run. When teams get in a certain coverage, a lot of times there's 3 or 4 things they do out of that formation. I said coverage. I meant they get in a certain formation.
Yep.
There's a few things they're doing out of that formation. And if you do your homework, a lot of times you go, hey, screen. And sometimes you see the offensive guy go, hey, yeah, screen. You guys been running screen out of this, and you're running another screen out of it. That's why you're looking funny. But see, if you do your homework, but if you treat the game where you don't play the mental part of the game, you're not sitting in there looking at tape, just like, times, I'm in there looking at tape. My wife, why you keep looking at that? Baby, sweet, look, honey, look, we don't need to get in all that. But I got to look at this tape again, So I want to look at a couple of those plays because, the formations, a lot of times an offensive coordinator and and they do a lot more now than they did when I was playing. They get in a certain formation. They like to run certain things out of certain formations. And especially if you saw it earlier in the game and they had success with it, they're going to come back to it. Come on.
Yep.
And you don't be shocked, but you got to be thinking, and they need players, you need guys on the team that are talking, because as you get where you're playing formations and you know the tendencies of a team and everything, and then all of a sudden it'll help you make a big play. It'll help you make a big play. And you're going, man, all that work was worth it. All that studying these guys was worth it, because when the game was on the line, you came out and something going, they're getting ready to run this such and such play, they flood the zone or whatever, and you're able to get there and make a play. Then all of the tape study was worth it. Now, good teams, they put in the time, they're willing. If they got to look at tape for 10 hours, they do it to be able to be prepared to make a big play, and then you got to be confident enough that when you see something happen, now this starts happening to you where you're going, now I'm jumping this thing. They're getting ready to run this route. I'm going to go up there and pick this play. You got to have enough confidence that when it's there, go ahead and take it, and that's a lot of the game, man. And I was fortunate that where I played with some guys, I remember Stan White was a guy I played with. Stan, it's a wonder Stan didn't go and coaching. He's coaching in high school. But Stan was very smart. And see, Maxie Bourne is the guy that really taught me the NFL game. Maxie played for years with the Rams. He played for George Allen. He was a linebacker. And he taught me the game, on the pro level. And he taught Stan too. And so Stan was a teammate of mine. And so the mental part of the game, physical part, of course you got to know formations. What do teams like to do? Because a lot of times a good team, they're going to get the ball to a certain person if the game is on the line. That's a person. Whereas the other teams, they're going to run certain plays. When the game's on the line, they're going to go to certain plays they're going to be running. But you got to know that. You got to know what is the personality of this football team. And that helps you to be a couple split second early. And that's the difference in making a play and not making a play, or causing a fumble, or causing an interception, or making an interception is being a split second early.
Garry, lastly, Nakobe Dean, are you feeling better about him?
Yes, I am. Yeah, he's doing a good job out here, even though, people getting worked up. You see, he came out with determination, and he plays faster than he runs, where he can recognize something, and you can see he jumping plays, and you can see he plays the game mentally. He is sharp mentally, and you can see he's putting in the homework, and he's going after this job. He knows his game is on the line. I mean, his job and career is on the line. So he has been playing well. He has been doing good. And so I could see where he's putting pressure on winning this job. There's no doubt about that. And I could see where they're thinking about putting him in there more and more. You can see them giving him more reps. And I can appreciate that. I mean, this is what it's about, man. And, he's not, playing around and everything. He knows his career is on the line, and the kid is playing. He's playing very well.
Absolutely. Yep. Garry, great stuff, man. I mean, where the Avalanche has started. I mean, Minnesota this week, and then next week, you're down there with all the little girlies down there in Brazil.
Yep.
And you're going to have Sao Paulo. I mean, this thing's going to be interesting. Guess what? Thursday night football, Ravens and Chiefs. Then you got Friday night football. You got Packers and Eagles. Then you got Sunday and Monday night. Far cry to when we were back in the league, man? 4 days of football.
It's good stuff, man. We're gonna find out. Hey, and I think they're headed towards being ready. The defense is putting in a lot of work, because the offense, I think they're already there. But we are going to find out, boy. We're going to find out, and this is going to be some fun.
Absolutely. Yep. Garry, thank you, my friend.
All righty. Have a great day.
You got it. Garry Cobb, Fox 29 in Philadelphia. Make sure you check him out. Does a lot of work there covering the Philadelphia Eagles. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button. Where are we on the like list right now? Guys have been killing it. Guys were great. Appreciate Garry. Garry comes aboard each and every single Monday for us, and he's done it for 3 years for me. A couple times he misses here and there, but majority of the time, he played. Yale, 258. Holy cow, you guys are killing it. Let's see if we can get another 100 or at least up to 300 as we go into the next hour here. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Keep it here. National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.